Good morning, everybody. My name's Irfan Arif. I am one of the founders of Square Peg Round Hole. It is 4:15 a.m. And you might be wondering why the hell am I doing a video or a talk at 4:15 a.m. Well, as you probably hear the little cooing sounds in the background, that's my 3-month-old, and this is the only time actually. This is the quietest time in my house where I can actually spend some time and speak and reflect and think. So forgive me if you hear kind of some baby sounds in the background. I will not be actively listening to those sounds, and I'll be trying to ignore them. Um, but that's what I'm going to talk about today is active listening. Now, my background is diversity, inclusion, and behavioral science. So I teach, consult, and train on those areas. And I guess my really kind of short reflection for this really early morning talk um, is is about how we apply active listening skills, or how it's actually more important than ever, given what's going on in the world today, right? So, first of all, we've got COVID-19, right? So that's significantly changed the work environment. I'm here at 4:15 a.m. because of COVID-19 as well, right? Because I'm working from home and I'm having to make the best of what I can in that sense. Um, but also for a lot of people, the way they work now has considerably changed, and um, culturally, organizations are going to be very different. There's going to be new norms and new ways of how we do things. And then the kind of the other huge kind of movement or thing at the moment is Black Lives Matter, right? It's become a global movement. You know, originated in the US. The movement itself, not racism, um, and it's kind of obviously kind of taken on some real momentum. And there's it's on the news every day, and obviously there's different sides and different sides to the story, and there's different views and different views of people, but different experiences. And so I guess my what I've been thinking about is, well, actually, how do we need to apply active listening more and more in today's working environment, and how can we do that? So first of all, one of the key prerequisites of, and this is my kind of view, kind of based on my experiences of active listening, is this idea that we have to kind of almost let go of our own baggage, right? This is psychological baggage. This is kind of your. It's almost kind of acknowledging, for example, for myself, acknowledging my experiences, acknowledging my biases, acknowledging my perceptions, my stereotypes I might have of different groups of people, and then taking part in the active listening process. So whenever I am with a colleague at work, whether I'm having a video call, whether I'm in a face-to-face environment, right? If for me to be able to really apply active listening, one of the most important things is to remove my personal kind of biases from that environment. And it's almost acknowledging that this person I'm talking to, I may have specific views about that person. How much credibility do I give that person, for example? Now, if I think that this person is really clever, and I'm like, yeah, I really look up to this person, I will actively listen. What if this is somebody who is a little bit more junior than me, or somebody who maybe I don't always get on with? How much would I, how actively, or how much would I listen to what this person has to say? How much would I try and understand that? Or halfway through that conversation, I might, just sway here or there. So I guess, so just kind of moving on, I guess the key point here is that there's a couple of things that we need to consider when thinking about active listening. And especially when it comes to, for example, let's think about race, right? Racism. Imagine you're talking to somebody about their experience of race, about what Black Lives Matter means to them, right? The first step is to really kind of, maybe kind of, while acknowledging your own understanding and what you feel about it, in that moment, is to take that away and put it to the side, because you're there to listen, to understand, to learn, and to empathize, right? So the first step would be to kind of just, obviously depending on who this person is, if you don't know them, I guess it's almost like building that. The whole point of this exercise is to build trust, establish some kind of rapport, and then listen. But listen to understand, listen to empathize, and listen to learn, right? And as part of that listening process, the whole point is you're trying to understand, so you're going to ask questions, right? So what you might do is you might paraphrase or you might repeat back what you've heard, and then ask. But you know, if you don't understand, repeat back what you've heard, and then ask questions. So, for example, what might that be? You know, it might be that I understand. You know, I hear what you're telling me about your experience of racism in the work environment. And you kind of give me an example of what that looks like, and you know, you give me an example of your manager. But how? What? Can you give me another example of, just to kind of, because I still don't really get it. Can you just give me another example of another experience that you've had, just so that I can really understand what your whole experience in different scenarios is? So that might be an example of where you've kind of repeated, rephrased, paraphrased, and then just kind of questioned a bit more, just to understand, to learn, right? So another kind of, you know, and obviously the types of questions you ask is really important. So for example, it might be that you, I don't know, you ask very specific questions, right? So what did that person do? What did they say? Right? Or it might be very open-ended questions. I can see that you were upset from that situation. What was it specifically about that situation that upset you, right? And so these are all. It's ultimately what you're trying to do is you're kind of almost just trying to get down to the bottom of what this person, or how close can I get to really putting myself in this person's shoes, right? And this active listening skills are just a process to allow us to do that a little bit better. And I guess my final few points in today's kind of, I would say, crazy environment, you know, in today's changing world where the norms are constantly shifting, where cultures are constantly shifting, where organizational cultures are constantly shifting, we just need to have a think about how we really understand each other, how we empathize a bit better, and how we learn from what people experience, what they feel, and what can we then do to kind of support that. Now, obviously, this is and it's very short introduction to it, or reflection on it, really. But again, if you have any questions, if you want to kind of follow this through, then yeah, give us a shout on our email address at Square Peg Round Hole, and I'd love to engage with you going forward. But otherwise, thank you, and I was going to say good morning again, and have a great day going forward. Thank you. Bye bye.